that we can put in our
capable of performing sophisticated surgery without the assistance of humans. By 2241, the vault itself was used primarily as storage as well as a medical center for the citizens of Vault City. Vault 11, located in the Mojave Desert, conducted a social experiment where inhabitants were told that they had to sacrifice one vault dweller annually or else they all would perish. When the vault door was sealed and the first inhabitants learned about their situation, they were horrified and enraged with the vault's overseer for not telling them before they were trapped inside, thus turning him into Vault 11's very first sacrifice. This tradition of sacrificing the overseer would continue as time went on, and each year, the vault would hold an election to determine who would be elected as overseer and consequently killed. This divided the vault into different political parties known as the Coalition of Vault 11 voting blocks. Each year they would create voting guides for the vault's residents meant as an impartial source of information for who they should vote for. As time went on, these guides eventually would become a source of voting propaganda as the vault began to experience a power struggle among the blocks. As the Coalition gained influence over the years, they became more and more corrupt. And one year, a woman named Catherine Stone was sexually coerced by a leader of the Justice Bloc so that they would not sacrifice her husband, Nathan. Tragically, Nathan was voted as a sacrifice regardless, leading to Catherine murdering the other members of the Justice Bloc one by one in a fit of rage. Her rampage consequently resulted in her being voted as the sacrifice for the next year, and thus making her the new overseer. In her first act as overseer, she banned the election in favor of a system where the annual sacrifice would be chosen randomly by the vault's computer. The remaining members of the Justice Bloc, fearful of losing their power, staged an armed coup.
we're gonna try
In the massacre of most of the vault's residents, only 5 dwellers alive. These 5, horrified at the events that had taken place, mutually decided to end the cycle of killing and refused to sacrifice any more people. They were then presented with an automated message congratulating them for breaking the cycle and not murdering anyone, revealing the whole experiment was a ruse. The computer then unlocked the vault's main entrance, allowing the dwellers to leave and disgusted with what they had done. 4 of the 5 dwellers decided to end their own lives out of guilt for their actions. The remaining survivor, presumably, left the vault, never to be seen again. By 2281, the vault remains empty, only inhabited by its robot personnel, as well as terminal entries and holotapes detailing the horrible events that had taken place inside. Vault 12, located in Bakersfield, California, was intended as a medical experiment studying the effects of gradual radiation exposure, in which the vault door was designed to not seal correctly when the bombs dropped. This resulted in the vault's population turning into ghouls. In the year 2083, the survivors would leave the vault and turn the surrounding area into the city of Necropolis. By the time of Fallout 1, the vault is still inhabited by a number of glowing ones who act as guards for the vault's water chip if you attempt to steal it. Vault 13, located in the mountains of Southern California, was intended to keep its residents isolated from the outside world until one day, a water chip malfunction led to the overseer to send a handful of vault residents out into the wasteland to search for a replacement. The first dweller, a man named Ed, barely made it out of the vault before being killed by rats. The second dweller, a man named Callius, was captured by Nightkin and turned into an FEV mutant, and now resides in the Boneyard as a member of the Followers of the Apocalypse. The third, your player character, Fallout 1, would succeed in replacing Vault 13's water chip in the year 2161 after a long and harrowing journey throughout the wasteland. Despite fulfilling his task, as well as saving the vault from the Master's army of super mutants, the Vault Dweller was banished by the Overseer, as he felt that his adventures in the wasteland would lead the vault's population to abandon their homes. This would lead to the Vault Dweller leaving Vault 13 and founding the settlement of Arroyo. After the residents of Vault 13 learned of the Overseer's decision, they sentenced him to death, allowing those who wished to leave the vault to do so. The remaining dwellers lived peacefully in the vault until 2241, when they were captured or killed by the Enclave, who left behind a pack of intelligent deathclaws to guard the vault. The vault was then found by the Vault Dweller's grandson, the Chosen One, who was there on a mission to retrieve the vault's Gek in order to save the previously mentioned village of Arroyo. Once he retrieves the Gek, Frank Horrigan and his squad of Enclave soldiers exterminate the Deathclaws, leaving Vault 13 an empty hole in the ground. Vault 15, located in Southern California, was a social experiment in which a large population from diverse ethnic and religious backgrounds were forced to live together. This would cause a schism among the dwellers, which would lead to them abandoning the vault. Vipers. The remaining inhabitants who opted to not become raiders fled west and established the settlement of Shady Sands. By 2161, the vault was abandoned and only inhabited by a family of rat scorpions. As the years went on, Vault 15 remained abandoned due to disputes over excavation rights. Various factions, including the New California Republic, Raiders, and Scavengers, all clashed over control. In the early 2240s, the NCR sought to reclaim the vault's computer parts, but were stopped by a group of squatters living on the surface of the vault. These squatters were secretly harboring a group of raiders known as the New Cons, who they believed were restoring the vault. However, the truth was that the New Cons were just using the squatters as a smokescreen to hide from the NCR. The situation was resolved after Tandy, the president of the NCR, hired the Chosen One to broker a deal between the NCR and the squatters. In exchange for retrieving the computer parts, the squatters agreed to join the NCR, receiving education and essential supplies, while Vault 15 became the property of the NCR. The Vault 17 is a vault that we do not know much about. However, what we do know is that its inhabitants were kidnapped and transformed into supermutants by the Master. Among those inhabitants lived a 75-year-old grandma named Lily Bowen. After being exposed to the Force Evolutionary Virus by the Master's army, Lily was turned into a night gnat and can be found in Jacobstown and Fallout, New Vegas, where she can be recruited as a companion. Vault 19, located in the Mojave Desert, was intended as a social experiment studying the effects of factionalism and how it induced paranoia and mistrust among its residents. During this experiment, residents were divided into blue and red sectors and subjected to a series of manipulation tactics to turn the two sections against each other. Journal entries found inside the vault indicate high levels of paranoia, such as blaming the other factions for the vault's malfunctions, as well as reports of feeling unusual drafts from the air vents, seeing blinking patterns in the lights that mimicked code, as well as a child reporting hearing high-pitched noises coming from his vault terminal, which was perhaps a form of subliminal messaging. Little did they know that this was all being orchestrated by the overseers, as well as the vault doctors, who may have been drugging the residents, leading some to experience fits of aggression and psychosis. By the time of Fallout New Vegas, the vault had been taken over by powder gangers after they found the place abandoned, leaving the fate of the vault's residents unknown. Vault 21, located on the New Vegas Strip, housed an experiment which focused on the effects of excessive gambling. When the bombs dropped, 200 years would pass, and the vault's residents would develop a stable community which solved its problems of gambling. Eventually, in the year 2274, Robert House, the ruler of the New Vegas Strip, proposed a game of blackjack, where if he won, he would become the owner of the vault. Some of the
Why did you make your mouth open?
vault's residents were skeptical and favored isolationism. In favor of opening the vault up. As a result, Mr. House tasked the residents in favor of opening up the vault to challenge those who disagreed to a game of blackjack in order to decide what to do. Eventually, the dwellers in favor of opening up won the game, handing over the ownership of Vault 21 to Mr. House. Afterwards, Mr. House unexpectedly attempted to fill the vault with concrete in order to force the residents to move out of Vegas. However, one of the dwellers, Sarah, was able to convince him to turn the vault into a hotel. Convinced of its profitability, Mr. House transformed the vault into a hotel, and by 2281, the vault was still open for business, offering residents of New Vegas room and board as long as they have the caps. Vault 22, located in the Mojave Desert, was intended as a research facility which tested modified
That is bad.
offering residents of New Vegas. Vegas room and board as long as they have the caps. Vault 22, located in the Mojave Desert, was intended as a research facility which tested genetically
Dude, that is so cool.
business, offering residents of New Vegas room and board as long as they have the caps. Vault 22, located in the Mojave Desert, was intended as a research facility which tested genetically modified crops that were developed at Big Mountain.
It's all got trees everywhere and shit, and it's a desert.
After the bombs dropped and the scientists began experimenting on the crops, they accidentally
That's a nice
released
desert.
an
I wouldn't
outbreak
mind
of a
chilling there.
modified fungal infection, which would lead to the vault being overrun with vegetation. The vault's residents all would eventually succumb to the infection, as the fungus they were experimenting on would colonize their bodies and use them as hosts, turning them into horrifying creatures known as spore carriers. Located somewhere on the west coast of the United States, Vault 29 was intended to house a population of rich children under the age of 15. The vault would be controlled by a Zax AI supercomputer, which would be programmed to raise the children with the aid of robotic helpers. Not much is known about the fate of Vault 29, other than the fact that Harold, a recurring character in the Fallout series, is said to have originated from there. Vault 34, located in the Mojave Desert, hosted an experiment granting its inhabitants unrestricted access to an armory full of weapons and explosives. This would cause a very gun-centric culture within the vault, and seeing the potential for disaster, the Overseer would lock up the vault's armory. Because of this, the residents protested, as they felt that they had the right to their weapons, and thus, the population was divided into two groups. The first group would escape the vault and head north, where they would discover the Nellis Air Force Base and eventually become the Boomers. The remaining dwellers would be trapped inside by the Overseer, leading to a riot that damaged the vault's reactor. This would end up filling the vault with radiation, turning its remaining residents into feral ghouls. As of 2281, Vault 34 is nothing more than a ghoul-infested, irradiated hole in the ground stocked with all the weaponry that one could need. Not much is known about Vault 43, as it was featured only in the Fallout comic titled One Man and a Crate of Puppets. All that is known about the vault is that its inhabitants consisted of 20 men, 10 women, and a panther. Vault 51, located in the forests of Appalachia, conducted an experiment in which a Zax 4.3C supercomputer would test the vault's residents in order to determine who is best fit for the role of Overseer. The computer was primarily taught by a man named Sergeant Robert Baker, who would advise the computer on what made the best leader. As time went on, Baker attempted 2 separate times to hold an election, but when no one could decide on a leader, the computer deemed elections pointless and would forego this method of selecting the Overseer. Baker would then commune with the AI, telling it that a leader was someone who stepped up in times of crises. The AI would misinterpret this message and begin to produce a series of crises for the dwellers in order to see who was most fit to lead. These crises included, but are not limited to, changing the rules of a talent show halfway through to make it so that the losers would be forced to move out of their bedrooms and into bunk beds, making the dwellers compete in rigged casino games, engineering a food shortage, convincing the dwellers that houseflies were infesting the vault, blaring the vault alarms while the residents were sleeping, switching their coffee with decaf, and manipulating the dwellers into cheating on their significant others. These events ultimately manipulated the remaining inhabitants to turn against each other, leading to multiple deaths. One day, after the body of a dweller named Helen was found, the vault residents began a frenzy. This led to the dwellers massacring each other, leaving only one survivor alive, a man named Reuben Gill. Since he was the only dweller left, he was named Overseer, and would stay isolated with the Zax AI for years. This would change when Reuben found out about the opening of Vault 76. Seeking a way to escape, Reuben would hack into the vault's inventory system and place himself inside a shipping crate, allowing him to leave undetected when the crate was removed from the vault. His plan was to find someone from Vault 76 to help him defeat the Zax AI, and he was actually successful in making contact with one of the dwellers, but he ultimately died before he could return to Vault 51. Currently, the vault is abandoned, and its only inhabitants are some scorched who wandered inside. Located in a cave underneath a shack southwest of Lewisburg, West Virginia, Vault 63 remains sealed. abandoned, and its only inhabitants are some scorched who wandered inside. Located in a cave underneath a shack southwest of Lewisburg, West Virginia, Vault 63 remains sealed and has yet to have any lore on what its purpose was, as it remains inaccessible to Fallout 76 players. However, this may change in a future update. Not much is known about Vault 69, as it's only featured in the previously mentioned Fallout comic titled One Man and a Crate of Puppets. As it's only featured in the previously mentioned Fallout comic titled One Man and a Crate of Puppets. All we know about Vault 69 is that it held 909 men about Vault 69.
Dude, that is so
And its
cool.
only inhabitants are some scorched who wandered inside. The plan was to find someone from Vault 76 to help him defeat the Zax AI, and he was actually successful in making contact with one of the dwellers, but he ultimately died before he could return to Vault 51. Currently, the vault is abandoned, and its only inhabitants are some scorched who wandered inside. Located in a cave underneath a shack southwest of Lewisburg, West Virginia, Vault 63 remains sealed and has yet to have any lore on what its purpose was, as it remains inaccessible to Fallout 76 players. However, this may change in a future update. Not much is known about Vault 69, as it's only featured in the previously mentioned Fallout comic titled One Man and a Crate of Puppets. All we know about Vault 69 is that it held 999 women and one man. Vault 75, located at Malden Middle School north of Boston, Massachusetts, conducted a social and medical experiment centered on a eugenics program to create the perfect soldiers from young children. When the bombs dropped, all the children's adult relatives would be executed, marking the beginning of the experiment. The kids were taught to fear the horrors of the outside world, and were trained to be fit, brave, and intelligent enough to venture out into the wastelands to help the remaining population above ground. Years later, when the children turned 18 and they graduated the program,
You know what?
the
I
smart but weak
gotta.
kids would be made into
We gotta play
scientists.
some Fallout.
The strong and smart were harvested for their organs.
Vault locations in Vault 76. Now where is this? Hold on. He says somewhere in
And the rest was 99 women and one. All we, however, more on what its purpose was, as it remains inaccessible to Fallout 76 players. To have any lore of Lewisburg March who wandered inside. Located in a cave underneath a shack southwest of Lewisburg, West Virginia, Vault 63 remains sealed and has yet to have any lore on what its purpose was, as it remains inaccessible to Fallout 76 players. However, this may change in a future update. Not much is known about Vault 69, as it's only featured in the previously mentioned Fallout comic titled One Man and a Crate of Puppets. All we know about Vault 69 is that it held 999 women and one man. Vault 75, located at Malden Middle School north of Boston, Massachusetts, conducted a social and medical experiment centered on a eugenics program to create the perfect soldiers from young children. When the bombs dropped, all the children's adult relatives would be executed, marking the beginning of the experiment. The kids were taught to fear the horrors of the outside world, and were trained to be fit, brave, and intelligent enough to venture out into the wastelands to help the remaining population above ground. Years later, when the children turned 18 and they graduated the program, the smart but weak kids would be made into scientists. The strong and smart were harvested for their organs, and the rest would simply be executed. Eventually, the vault was opened, and the remaining dwellers presumably headed out into the wasteland, abandoning the vault. By 2287, the vault is filled with gunners who repurposed it into one of their headquarters in the Commonwealth. Vault 76, a control vault located north of Flatwoods, West Virginia, was built to house 500 occupants and was scheduled to open 20 years after the Great War in order to rebuild and repopulate the wasteland on a special date known as Reclamation Day. The occupants included students from Tech University, military members, and even former White House Chief of Staff. Occupants were provided with fully furnished apartments, including a bedroom, living room, bathroom, and color television, and overall seemed like a great place to live. 25 years after the bombs dropped, the residents were given the all-clear, and the vault opened, to which they proceeded to head out into the wasteland with the goal of recolonizing the surrounding region of Appalachia. Vault 77 housed one man and a crate of puppets. The puppet man, as he was known, would unknowingly enter the vault as its only residence and be locked inside. As he slowly went insane due to isolation, he became engrossed with the puppets, believing them to be real people and hallucinating interactions between them. One day, the man found the king puppet murdered, to which he then accused the vault boy puppet of being the culprit. To the man's surprise, the vault boy revealed to him that they were both the ones who killed the king. Scared of what might happen if the other puppets found out, the vault boy convinced the man that they needed to leave the vault, which they eventually did. During their travels, they would encounter a giant mutated scorpion, a ghoulified vault dweller, as well as a giant ant, which the man named Mr. Pinch. The pair would eventually be captured by some wastelanders who planned to either enslave the man or eat him. He warned his captors that his
Fallout 76 Vault 63 location. You guys are fucking stupid. Fallout 76 Vault 63 location.
Two for 6 crispy chicken.
There's music! Copyright! No! Okay, welcome everyone back to Fallout 76, as I'm about to get copyright already at 5 seconds in. So I meant to post a video like 9-10 hours ago, like in the morning. Not how it worked out. Basically the video I planned for you guys today. I finally just got figured out. I'm very new to this, but basically, we're going to be doing a full tour of Vault 63. And I plan on doing this with the other vaults as well. And I'm going to show you guys the entire layout of the vault itself. So let's go on in here to Vault 63. Now what I was doing was, I was just trying to remove every vault door from the game. Not really remove it, just kind of replace it, just erase it. I have not actually been into the actual vault yet, so this will be my first impression as well. But let's give this a shot and see how it goes. This is Vault 63. Event failed, event breach and clear. Got like a little storage room. I wonder, I'm kind of surprised this is more like done than I really thought it would be. Wait, we can actually, there's stuff to pick up. Because like that's right there, that's locked. Like people, you're not supposed to get in this area where I'm standing right now. But there's actually a lot of stuff in here, like to pick up. Oh, wait, this is usable. Emergency management terminal. Begin mission. Please confirm that your team has assembled and is ready to begin. Once you confirm your acceptance of this mission, the vault door will cycle and no further personnel will be permitted in or out of the vault until this operation has been completed. I'm going to assume it doesn't work because we don't have a vault door. I'm assuming that wouldn't work normally. Oh, Vault 63, here we go. Okay, so I'm already noticing one thing right now. You see my cursor is that black right there? That's probably going to be like that throughout this vault, and it's mainly because I was replacing files within all these vaults today to try to get rid of all the doors. So obviously this isn't normal, because like that bottle cap right there, I was basically just replacing these doors with these bottle caps. So that's probably why the floor is like that, because there should be a door frame there. Let's keep looking around here. There's so much stuff to pick up. I'm really surprised. I have not been in any of these vaults yet. I wonder if I can get a Vault 63. A Vault 63 jumpsuit. That'd be pretty cool. Metal box. Alright, let's go back around this corner here. Actually, we can go in here. Does this even work? I don't see a button for the shower. Oh, lockers. Might have a vault suit. I actually should have looked. I don't even know if there's even a 63 like jumpsuit in the game. But man, I'm really surprised how like finished this is. A little art room? Not art room, but there's like a bunch of art on the wall. Got cameras to pick up, a bird cage. Another terminal that can't be used. I actually like seeing the coffee pot on the hot plate. That's pretty detailed. A fuse. And a fire. A lot of people think that these vaults are going to be raid vaults. I personally don't think that's going to be the case. We'll come in here first. It's really bright in this room. It's extremely bright in this room. Why is it so bright in here? What's I do? I turned it. Medical liquid nitrogen dispenser. No, we turned the valve. I don't know exactly what it did though. It's too bright in this right here. This needs to be fixed. Obviously, I'm sure it will once they release this in the actual game. I assume through DLC, but man, that is just super bright. Can you know the stairs? Let's go down this little corridor, I guess. Oh, we got like a little lab. Okay. Wait. Oh, I thought I could pick up that painting for some reason. It'd be crazy to find plans down here. I'm gonna assume we're not going to, but we're gonna be looking over everything. There's a Vault Tech calendar, 1-800 for Vault Tech. I don't know if you actually call that number if it's something that actually picks up.
Oh, don't you fucking tell me.
Look at that fire.
Hold on, you guys.
That looks like
Jesus!
Doesn't it? I mean, it's not right now, but maybe at some point it actually will be.
Design.
Jiva. Oh. See, this is... This better not be... Ugh. If I want to... Yeah, that'd be a badass beat. Where's the freaking spawn point, you bloody bastards? Bloody freaking bastards. Get down. The governor to get to the chopper. Oh, fuck. It's not in there. It's in here, huh? Spawn 4660. Oh, what? Oh. $46, 68, 64. Oh, shite. 4. Jive! Oh, tell me. Tell me, sweet man, $43. Village. Let's just say 5,800. $82. Negative 380. This better be. Doggone it. Let me see something. Ah, fuck you. Yeah, that would have been nice. These are okay, but damn. Best Minecraft seed with a lot of islands.
Today, we unveil the 50 rarest and most
Shut the
extraordinary...
fuck up, cunt. Best Minecraft seed with the most islands. It's fucking hilarious. $84, $18, $84, $18, $7, $92, $85, $7, $90. It's pretty cool though. I love every seed. But it's just, it's not for me. Meteor impact. Meteor impact, that's cool. fucking idiots. Best Minecraft seed with a lot of islands. Idiot. Fucking nigger cunt.
So, you clicked on this video to find some Minecraft seeds for Minecraft.
Let me look it up on
Chunk
Chunk Base.
Well, you've come to the right place. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Top 5 Seed Series. Now that I've got the version and everything out of the way, if you guys think the seeds are fake, if you guys are like, hey, they're fake, you're scamming us, well, click the link in the description. The Chunk Base link will be there, and you can verify my work. It's amazing. That's where, oh my god, it's been a while since I've recorded this. That is where the locations are. So if you're looking for coordinates, go ahead, click down there. They won't be on your screen or anything. You can just find literally everything for the seed through that link. So, without further ado, let's get into seed number 1.
Fucking nigger.
Coming in at
I'm gonna cut your goddamn throat.
You know, oh my god, a pink sheep! What? That's a pink sheep. So after acknowledging the most rare mob in the game, a pink sheep, on a survival island, this survival island actually, I love this island because it's a savanna island. Now, you're going to look around, you're going to notice that there's nothing really nearby. There's a little island over there, but it is completely isolated, and you are going to get a beautiful savanna island, right? So, not much to really show off other than the pink sheep that managed to spawn in. I don't know if that'll be there when you spawn in. I think the generation's a little different like that, but we got one. But, as I was saying, nothing too crazy about the seed. You have a beautiful savanna biome. It is going to be cut off, but you are completely isolated. So, when it comes to a survival island seed, this seed pretty much has what it takes to be what I would call an intermediate level seed. So, yeah, seed number 1, it's gonna help you a little bit. You're gonna enjoy it at an intermediate level. Now, coming in at seed number 2, I'm gonna go ahead and put this one at kind of beginner level. You're gonna actually not mind this seed. Now, you're gonna notice right away that mainland isn't too far away. So if you did really want to venture out, you can. It's just a simple swim away. But this island is going to give you a little bit of a windswept savanna over here. You're going to end up with, what's this called, a beautiful forest, but nonetheless, you get a village at spawn. So you get this massive island because it's a savanna island. Now, you're going to look around, you're going to notice that there's nothing really nearby. There's a little island over there, but it is completely isolated, and you are going to get a beautiful savanna island, right? So, not much to really show off other than the pink sheep that managed to spawn in. I don't know if that'll be there when you spawn in. I think the generation's a little different like that, but we got one. But, as I was saying, nothing too crazy about the seed. You have a beautiful savanna biome. It is going to be cut off, but you are completely isolated. So, when it comes to,
Shop innovative GE appliances.
$48.20. 504. Ah, go down. Ooh. Get that motherfucker out of here, ignorant knicker cunt bitch. Java! Trash this one. Java with that shit. This one had so many islands though. I gotta find one. That one's okay. one seems to have a big. Maybe it's orange. Like I love the orange mesas. Desert. Badlands. I mean. That one's boom, boom. This one's got quite a bit. I'm gonna look. I'm gonna do this. It's a lot faster. I just want to find one with a lot of islands though. Ugh. I don't know what it is about this game, but I love to start all over. It's crazy. It's a weird fetish. No play. Take off the negative side. good.
You are the future. Pursue tech careers with the DeVry Scholars Program. Advance your ambition.
Shut up.
His captors that his puppet was dangerous, that he had killed before in a plea to let them go. After they shrugged him off as simply being delusional, the man would murder one of his captors, leaving one alive to lead him to the rest of his group. After the survivor had made it to the rest of his gang, he told them that the puppet man had murdered Bob, the other slaver. The men began to hear a noise as the puppet man got closer and closer to the gang. We then see in the final panel that the puppet man had murdered the gang with his bare hands, thus finalizing his descent into madness. In Fallout 3, if you head to Paradise Falls, a settlement full of slavers, you can find a Vault 77 jumpsuit hidden alongside a holotape. This holotape contains a recording of one of the slavers ordering the listener to burn alongside a holotape. This holotape contains a recording of one of the slavers ordering the listener to burn the jumpsuit out of fear that the puppet man may come looking for it. Vault 79, built in secret by Vault-Tec north of Dolly Sott's Wilderness, West Virginia, was meant to house 120 high-ranking soldiers and government agents tasked with protecting the nation's gold reserves with the intent of rebuilding the economy after the Great War. The Vault's number was chosen due to the fact that 79 is the atomic number for gold. In July 2072, secrecy surrounding the Vault was compromised when soldiers guarding the site stole millions of dollars worth of gold and ventured to Las Vegas to gamble. Their actions led to a confrontation at the Ultralux Casino, resulting in a shootout with local police. Despite attempts to surrender, all those involved were executed. In 2077, when the bombs finally dropped, the vault was sealed, to which inhabitants awaited further instructions from the U.S. government. However, at some point after the war, a mutiny led by a rogue Secret Service agent named Shorty resulted in a number of deaths among the vault's population. The survivors remained inside the vault, isolated and depressed, with at least 3 agents taking their own lives. On the surface, rumors of the vault's gold attracted treasure hunters, who hired your player character to help them commit a heist on Vault 79. Vault 81, built in Boston, Massachusetts, was intended to host an experiment in which scientists would use the vault's civilians as guinea pigs to develop a universal cure for disease. The vault was designed so that the scientists would be separated into a secret sector unbeknownst to the residents, where they could monitor and experiment on the population. When the vault closed, before the scientists could begin their experiments, they were betrayed by the Overseer, who locked them inside the secret sector of the vault. The scientists would eventually perish, leaving only a single Mr. Handy named Curie. As for the residents of Vault 81, they would maintain a peaceful society, and as of 2287, the Vault continues to thrive as it has managed to establish trade relations with the surface, continuously prolonging its residents' survival, unaware of the Vault's secret experiment. Vault 87, built in northeastern Virginia, was a research facility experimenting with the forced evolutionary virus, transforming its civilian population into supermutants, centaurs, and other mutated abominations. However, these supermutants escaped containment, and they seized control of the Vault only 1 year after it was closed. By 2277, the Vault is overrun with supermutants. However, one of these mutants, named Fox, managed to retain his intelligence, and if you manage to free him, he becomes as a companion. Vault 88, located in Quincy, Massachusetts, was intended as a testing ground for experimental productivity-boosting technology for other vaults, but was left unfinished, and when the bombs dropped, it turned the Overseer into a ghoul. In 2287, she is saved from raiders attempting to break into the vault by your player character in Fallout 4. Upon speaking with her, she tasks you with helping her rebuild the vault, making it a potential settlement for the player character to enjoy. Vault 92, located in Olney, Maryland, in the Capital Wasteland, was led by Overseer Richard Rubin and promised to preserve the musically talented of the U.S. population. However, the Vault's true purpose was to conduct a medical experiment using white noise to implant combat suggestions within the minds of the residents. Despite initial success, the residents began exhibiting psychotic behavior, leading to multiple deaths. To make things worse, the vault structure was decaying, as water began leaking into the vault, causing flooding. As the insanity spread, one of the Vault-Tec employees, Professor Melius, pleaded with Rubin to end the experiment, to which the Overseer refused. It is implied in an audio log that Malleus then planned on making the Overseer pay for his crimes, but no follow-up is provided. As the vault fell into further chaos, eventually it succumbed to flooding, allowing Mirelurks to infest the area, presumably finishing off any remaining survivors, and turning Vault 92 into their new habitat. Vault 94, located in northeastern West Virginia, was advertised as a place where residents were tasked with preserving the natural environment surrounding the vault. However, its true experiment was to test how a non-violent religious community would adapt to interacting with the outside world after the Great War. The community was run by a woman named Gabrielle Salvar, and she made it so that the vault's decisions were made by a council rather than one overseer. The experiment would be overseen by a sole Vault-Tec employee named Tyrone Hayes, who was instructed to monitor the population as time went on. When the bombs fell, the community was driven to the vault by two separate buses. The first bus was able to get their passengers inside. However, the second bus was too late, and their members were locked outside the vault as the door was hardwired shut. After the vault door was sealed, the vault remained peaceful until Salvar convinced the community to open their doors back up on October 23, 2078, exactly 1 year after the Great War. The community would send multiple ambassadors into the wasteland until one would come across the town of Harper's Ferry. The ambassador would attempt to bring survivors back to his home by telling them that they had a farm outside of the vault that could feed the entire town. The mayor, a woman named Maria Collins, suspicious of the dwellers' claims, would send a group of townsfolk to investigate the vault. The group would be invited inside the vault, where they began to feel on edge about the community's inviting nature. They would eventually succumb to their paranoia and would massacre the vault council as well as any remaining survivors from the community. After their massacre concluded, they would find the vault's GEC. Mistaking it for a mind control device, they began to open fire on it. This resulted in a level 6 nuclear explosion which would cause the radiation in the area to surge. This led to the organisms within the affected area to mutate, as well as a thick fog to pour from the vault's entrance, which would rapidly intensify the area's swampy environment. This event would then transform the surrounding area into what we now know as the Mire. Vault 95, located southeast of Natick, Massachusetts, was an experiment which had chem addicts undergoing experimental rehabilitation for their addictions. After the bombs dropped, the program would go on for several years and would prove successful in getting the dwellers to kick their addictions. This was until a Vault-Tec agent masquerading as a fellow resident opened a stash of drugs hidden within the vault while the population slept. The next morning, when the supply was discovered by the residents, chaos ensued, leading to violence among the dwellers, as well as some to succumb to their urges, while others maintained their commitment to sobriety. It is not known what happened to the residents following this instance, as by the year 2287, the vault was completely occupied by gunners, who repurposed the vault into a stronghold for them to operate out of. Vault 96, located south of Spruce Knob Campground, West Virginia, was advertised as a vault designed to monitor the damage done to the local fauna after the bombs dropped. However, once it was sealed, the scientists within were shocked to discover that the vault's true purpose was to conduct unethical experiments on mutated animals cryogenically frozen inside the vault in order to find a way to counteract their mutations. They were forced to maintain a weekly quota of data by the vault's mainframe that, if not met, would result in their demise. The vault's planned duration was set for a minimum of 250 weeks, after which the residents would be exterminated, apart from the overseer, who would be permitted to leave. The scientists would conduct these experiments on their diverse supply of cryogenically frozen animals, including a mysterious entity known as X001. By week 146, one of the scientists failed to meet their quota due to a lack of access to specimen X001, leading to her demise at the hands of the mainframe. Blaming the overseer, a man named Eric, the team confronted him, only to discover that he was orchestrating an escape plan which involved infecting the mainframe with a virus in order for them to flee. Although the plan initially succeeded, the mainframe activated superseding protocol Omega, causing the residents' deaths. Despite this, the virus successfully shut down the mainframe, leaving the vault open, prompting animals to escape and triggering the emergency management system to call for assistance. In the year 2104, the vault was taken over by a scientist named Edgar Blackburn, who used its research equipment to attempt to create an improved strand of FEV in order to help humanity adapt to the wasteland. He would do this by hiring a group of mercenaries known as the Hellcat Company in order to guard Vault 96 and abduct unsuspecting dwellers for him to experiment on. Vault 101, located west of Springvale, Virginia, held a social experiment which studied the role of the Overseer in a vault that was never intended to open. After the Great War, the residents remained isolated, as the Overseer fabricated an illusion of the outside world being uninhabitable, fostering the belief that survival solely existed within the vault. This continued for years until one Overseer elected to break the cycle of isolationism and sent an expedition team out into the wasteland. When they returned, they would analyze samples taken from the wasteland that the team collected. This would lead to two team members, Lewis and Agnes Taylor, to be sent to Megaton for further exploration and contact between the two settlements. Eventually, Agnes would return to Vault 101 around 2258, and the Overseer would vanish after a failed expedition into the capital wasteland. Eventually, a new Overseer named Alphonse Almodovar would seek to return to the ways of isolationism and seal the vault once more. Until one day, a man named James came to the vault seeking shelter, offering his services as a doctor in exchange for the safety of him and his infant child. The Overseer would let them in, and James would keep his child in the dark about their origins in the wasteland because of his agreement with Alphonse, convincing your player character that they were born in the vault. The Overseer would continue his regime of isolationism with only one woman managing to escape the vault. Eventually, in 2277, a rad roach infestation sparked chaos in Vault 101, enabling James to escape. This caused even further turmoil, leading to several deaths. After the Overseer orders the killing of multiple people, including the Lone Wanderer, you escape into the wasteland, fleeing from the Overseer's wrath. While your player character leaves to find your father, the Vault 101 Overseer increases security measures, causing division among the dwellers who realize the possibility of a life on the outside. As tensions rose, Amada, the Overseer's daughter, would send out a broadcast frequency seeking the return of the player to help resolve the situation, leaving the fate of Vault 101 in the hands of the Lone Wanderer. Vault 106, located southeast of Arefu, conducted an experiment in which the air filtration system was contaminated with psychoactive drugs 10 days after the vault door closed. This experiment was known by the Overseer and the vault staff, and they were each instructed to keep this a secret from the dwellers. As time went on, the effects of the drugs began to take their toll on the dwellers, as they began to show more and more signs of aggressive behavior, prompting the Overseer to order a lockdown. However, the deranged residents eventually overwhelmed vault security and brutally murdered them as well as the Overseer. Years later in Fallout 3, you can find the vault inhabited by insane survivors who have all descended into madness due to years of breathing in psychoactive drugs. As you explore the vault, your character actually begins to see hallucinations of characters from their past, such as Amada, the Tunnel Snakes, and your father. Vault 108, located north of Washington, D.C., had an abundance of problems. The vault was designed to house 475 people for only 38 years, the power supply was set to fail after 20 years, and the Overseer was set to die after only 3 years due to a rare type of cancer. The experiment also deliberately left standard positions vacant, as well as providing the residents with no entertainment tapes. Basically, this vault sucked ass. However, in addition to these failures, the vault came equipped with a cloning lab. After the vault sealed, cloning experiments would be conducted which produced 53 clones of a man named Gary. Each cloned iteration of Gary exhibited hostility towards non-clones, escalating with each replication. Subsequent clones became increasingly violent, leading to them eventually purging the vault of its residents. By 2277, the vault is solely inhabited by clones who are only capable of saying one word.
Gary.
Vault 111, located in Sanctuary Hills, Massachusetts, was designed as a medical experiment studying the long-term effects of cryogenic stasis on its unsuspecting residents. Once the vault was sealed, its residents would be told to enter cryostasis pods that were masqueraded as decontamination chambers. Once the residents were frozen, the vault was said to remain sealed for at least 180 days. After 180 days passed, there was no all-clear signal, resulting in the Overseer's decision to maintain the vault's sealed status despite dwindling supplies. Following this, a group led by security and support staff rebelled against the Overseer, and in response, the Overseer initiated a lockdown. Unfortunately, the logs abruptly end at this point, and we can presume based on the skeletons scattered throughout the vault, that the staff would soon perish after these events. In 2227, the mysterious organization known as the Institute discovered the vault and found that one of the cryostasis pods inside housed an infant named Sean, whose DNA remained untainted by post-war radiation, perfect for their third-generation synths. Agent Conrad Kellogg and 2 scientists were dispatched to retrieve the infant. However, when they opened the pods to retrieve Sean, one of his parents resisted in their efforts, which led to their tragic murder at the hands of Kellogg. After 60 years, Sean's other parents,
cornflakes, I knew you
who
evil
witnessed the
bastards.
kidnapping, would be mysteriously released from cryostasis, discovering all the other vault residents deceased due to a life support failure, making them and Sean the sole survivors of Vault 111. Vault 112, located southwest of Washington, D.C., was designed to house 85 people. The vault's unique experiment involved immersing occupants in perpetual virtual reality, overseen by Dr. Stanislaus Braun, creator of the Garden of Eden creation kit. The vault housed a set of virtual reality pods which simulated a utopic suburb known as Tranquility Lane. Unbeknownst to its occupants, once they entered the virtual reality pods, Braun held absolute control over the simulation. Inside the simulation, Braun would take on the form of a little girl named Betty, and he would use his power to turn the vault's residents into his personal playthings, repeatedly murdering them inside the simulation. Each time Braun murdered them, he would wipe their memory and resurrect them within the program, creating a cycle of torture that would go on for centuries. Vault 114, located inside Park Street Station in Boston, Massachusetts, was a social experiment that was advertised as a luxury vault for wealthy members of society. However, in reality, the vault was designed to be cramped and overpopulated in addition to being under the leadership of an overseer with an abundance of mental issues. The vault was nearing completion, with construction underway and a man named Soup Can Harry being selected as overseer. However, the vault was never finished, potentially due to contract fraud and embezzlement. Eventually, after the bombs fell, its construction site was repurposed as a base of operation for Skinny Malone's gang of Triggermen. Vault 118, hidden beneath the Cliffs Edge Hotel in Mount Desert Island, Maine, was designed as an exclusive establishment aiming to attract wealth in Mount Desert Island, Maine. Gang of Triggermen. Vault 118, hidden beneath the Cliffs Edge Hotel in Mount Desert Island, Maine, was designed as an exclusive establishment aiming to attract wealthy and influential individuals seeking privilege and luxury. The Vault's original experiment would involve segregating residents into two groups, an elite class of 10 ultra-rich individuals pampered by robotic staff, and a larger working-class populace of 300 confined to cramped conditions. The rich would hold authority over the others, with robotic staff executing their judgments. However, construction on the second wing intended for the working-class group ceased due to financial issues. The primary financier, Ezra Parker, stopped funding, citing payment difficulties from the guests. In addition to him, the vault was set to host influential figures such as former Hollywood actors Keith McKinley and Gilda Brosco, a famous painter named Santiago Avida, as well as Dr. Riggs and his wife Juliana. Dr. Riggs in particular was involved in robotics research, and he was able to convince his fellow residents to consider having their brains inserted into robo-brains so that they could become immortal. They all agreed and went through with the procedure, and when the Great War came and the vault was sealed, the Overseer became the only remaining human amidst the robo-brain residents. Centuries passed, and one day, Ezra Parker, the primary financier of Vault 118, was murdered, leading the residents to seek help from the player character in investigating who did it. In Fallout 76, a raider named Bruiser claims that he grew up in a vault somewhere on the East Coast. He claims that he participated in a warlike gladiator sport inside the vault, which based on his description sounds strikingly similar to American football. At some point during his stay in the vault, he left, and eventually ended up in Appalachia, West Virginia. Nothing else is known about this vault, as Bruiser doesn't give us a number that we can assign to it, but hopefully it will be explored by the Fallout franchise in an expansion or in a future Fallout title. Alright guys, that was every vault in the Fallout canon. Before I sign off, I'd like to share some exciting news. I've launched a Patreon. If you enjoy my content and want to support me as well as gain access to perks like early video releases and exclusive content, then feel free to check it out. Anyways, please like, subscribe, and I hope you have a
4,
wonderful day.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 19. Best 1.20 seeds in best island seeds in Minecraft 1.20. No, get the fuck out of here with that shit. Kind of annoying, but just started this. I'm just gonna keep going till I find what I'm looking for, and I still haven't found what I'm looking for. These plateaus are my favorite. First of all, get this shit the fuck out of here. Jive. Oh. Ooh. Most islands in a Minecraft seed. You fucking idiots. God damn you, I'm gonna kill you. You guys are stupid.
Welcome, Minecraft builders, to the ultimate compilation of Minecraft's best seed. Biop 25 allows you to build in a flower forest hidden away from the rest of the hill until you find the gap in the steep meadow wall. Head on through to find the enclosed flower forest. Views around this lake are incredible. I'd recommend building right here for optimal views of the mountains, forest and another great building location. Over the top of this gigantic mountain, you'll find another nice location with plains, cliffs and a savannah village waits just beyond the mountains, should you tunnel your way there or brave the climb. While this location may make you feel isolated, there's a valleys that would be ideal for some cherry-walled towns. There's so much space for building.
Oh, the bliss.
Welcome,
Oh,
Minecraft.
the bliss is gonna make you see. Ooh. Ah, take.
Welcome, Minecraft builders.
What?
At Minecraft Live 2020, Chip showed us something we'd never seen before, his little green book of Minecraft game design.
This is only for Mojang Studios employees. It contains a lot of secrets.
This book was designed to be shared exclusively with employees to help them make a more cohesive game, but outside of a rare page reveal, we actually don't know what is inside, except actually the book was found in a public library recently and is uploaded in its entirety to the Internet Archive. So I read the entire thing, of course, and it taught me that Alex and Steve will never be found outside of base Minecraft, that F3 was a mistake Jeb regrets, and the weird thing that Charcoal, the Beacon, and the Rose have in common. These are all interesting questions, but the first big one you probably have is... defeating the Ender Dragon. Not how Minecraft Bedrock does it, where you can add your own skin on some platforms, but you're very much encouraged to buy one, which I guess is the same thing. You're making your own skin, just using money instead. We use Steve and Alex in our merchandise as mascots for Minecraft, but they should not have an active role in spin-off projects or storylines. That is massive right there. Steve is the big, well-known character of Minecraft, and all of the other ones, they exist too. I think Alex is like second most famous, and then the other 7, you know, they might be known about by some people. But what's interesting is that they are not going to have an active role in spin-off projects or storylines, with Steven Smash being a clear exception there. Absolutely fascinating, if you ask me. You know what else is fascinating? The fact that it's not quite an RPG, since Minecraft's original inspiration came from games such as War Fortress and Dungeon Master. It has evolved in the direction of a fantasy role-playing game. But Minecraft is not a traditional role-playing game.
What Minecraft seeds have the most islands? Yeah. What? I thought you were knocking.
You want a t-shirt? It's too big.
Yeah.
It's not got a 1X, but it's a 2X.
Okay, thanks. Was that you knocking?
Yeah.
Oh.
I was trying to be like real quiet, not disturb Grandma. Didn't work. She said, what? Yeah, what?
Come here.
Not yet, she's on her way.
Love ya. Thank ya. Hold on, y'all. Oh, nice seed. This is definitely not what I'm looking for. Minecraft seed with a lot of islands. Pam, you can't bark at me after the fact. That's hilarious.
Because they saw me and then they barked.
Just the words made me laugh after the fact.
Eventually we'll meet it. You never know.
What is this one though? Oh, 1 point. Fuck that shit. Ah, fuck that shit. I'm gonna do this. Download Minecraft for $0. Still looking. 1, 2, 3. Chad, did you say mops? Chad?
What?
You said mops?
Yeah.